All right, it's another episode of 9 Months Out, father and son conversation. My name is Rodney.
My name is Dylan.
How you feeling, man?
A little tired, but I'm feeling overall pretty cool.
Yeah, I just walked into your room and you were sleeping like you were 4 years old again, just hanging off the bed. Like, that made no sense. You just tired? I feel like you've had a bit of a tough week.
A bit. Yeah, I am tired though, but yeah, I would say it's been a bit tough though. I feel like I've been doing a pretty good job of like not going so far deep into like that negative hole I tend to claw myself into, and I've been like staying pretty like fairly positive like during school and whatnot. So it hasn't been as bad as it would have been like a year or two ago.
Do you know the difference between ignoring how you feel and dealing with how you feel? Because it can get a little bit tricky. Like, I encourage you, of course, to remain positive at all times, but that doesn't mean that I want you to abandon going through the process of processing your emotions.
Yeah. It's not necessarily that I entirely ignore it, but I make sure to address it. Yeah, I tend to address it in my head and like think it over. I just try to make sure that I find some balance. And sometimes I might disregard it too much, and then it doesn't really like the lesson doesn't really hit me. Whatever happened,
It doesn't stick with you.
yeah. But I think I can more or less once I'm find a balance between taking in the lesson and understanding what it meant and how I should go about it, and also just not letting it stick to me too much to the point where I'm so attached to it, to that negative connotation that it just affects me overall, my overall mood.
Okay. Because there's a lot to be learned in hurt. Mm-hmm. There's a lot to be learned in hurt. And while I encourage you, again, to try to be as positive as possible, I don't want you to suppress feelings of pain. When you run from pain, you usually don't get to benefit from the lesson that it's there to teach you. So just want to make sure that you're mindful of that, because it can get tricky, man. I've had moments where I didn't want to deal with the hurt or the pain, and I walked around trying to fake my way through a space of positivity, and then things start to sprout up. You stop one leak, and then 4 or 5 more pop up because you didn't properly address and fix the first one.
Yeah.
So just want you to be cognizant of that. What else is up? What's going on in your world? What's going on in your heart? This chin hair is getting wildly long, by the way.
It is?
It's like, you never seen Scooby-Doo, huh?
Yeah, I know Scooby-Doo.
You know Shaggy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Shaggy. Shaggy's crazy.
It's a little wild. I ain't gonna lie. Do your thing, bro.
I guess a part of like it being a rough week for me, there's this girl I liked.
Whoa, breaking news.
I know. Feeling a little confident tonight.
Okay.
This girl I liked, and I was trying to muster up the courage to like talk to her about it, and if not, like just start a relationship all of a sudden, because I know people need their time and their, just take their time and to get to feel it out with somebody.
Yeah.
So, but I was talking to one of my friends who was also close with her, and they was telling me, "Oh yeah, like that's not gonna happen." It's like, and I'm like, "Nah, I should be fine." And they're like, "No, like it's like she only sees you as a friend." And I asked, "Okay, how bad?" And you remember like the Kaisana and like Tyler thing where Tyler was
yeah.
It was like, oh, it's like that. I'm like, oh damn, that's kind of sucked, because like that was someone that I really wanted, and a lot of who they are when it comes to at least a relationship is a lot of what I wanted at the moment.
How do you know that, though?
Me, her, and another friend were talking about her past relationship with someone else and all the issues that came out from that and everything that she was really rocking with. And she kind of got into a lot of things of what she desires in relationships. So, for example,
Don't be spilling this girl's tea.
no, I won't like get into specifics or nothing, but she wants clear communication, which I mean seems obvious on the surface, but I feel like with a lot of our generation, it's a lot not as common. I feel like, or it's much more convoluted and not as clear. So it's
That's not just a your generation thing, for the record, and that's not gender specific. But
oh no, yeah, that's just in general.
well, I guess my question is right, like, or not even question. My statement is that sometimes people are very different in relationship than they are in friendship, or just when you casually get to know them. I think when there's a level of emotional investment, sometimes people's character or how they deal with certain things changes and shifts. So while I obviously want you to feel that someone is worth getting to know, I don't never want you to assume that they're going to be a specific kind of way, because people do have a tendency to change up. And that's just, I just want to encourage you to be mindful of that, to not enter situations. I don't want to dim the light. Like, I don't want you to be like pessimistic, but I just want you to be cognizant of the fact, I keep using that word, but I just want you to be mindful of the fact that, yo, let me get to know this person like through and through, for real, and then I can make a determination on how I think they might be, but I also am going to give them grace to like show up in the way that is most honest and true to themselves. Because what people say, sometimes it doesn't always align with their actions. I did not want to ask you this question, but I'll ask, is there anything that you've learned about women and about relationships through my experiences?
I think definitely one of them is to set boundaries early. And really make it clear of certain things you rock with and certain things that's just not acceptable for you. And I think it could get easy to let go of that, or let go of your boundaries and be more lenient with somebody that you love, because they wouldn't hurt me or do certain things to try and hurt me, at least not on purpose or whatever, when that could easily be the opposite, and you never don't really truly know until that happens.
It's a good one. It's a good one to take away, buddy. So for context, you don't remember my first long-term girlfriend. I was in a relationship with a woman for 4 years, and she was really pivotal in helping me raise you those first 3 or 4 years. I actually started dating her before you were even born. And she was a teacher, just a great resource and asset. She was a little bit older than me as well. So a lot of the patience that I didn't have, she had. And even when you moved out here to LA, she was living out here, and I hit her up and I was like, hey, like, Dylan is moving here to live with me. I didn't have an understanding of the landscape of the school systems out here, and she gave me some great insight. And so you don't remember her, but she was pivotal in our lives early on. And then obviously there was the relationship that probably most defines my adulthood. I was in like a 10-year relationship, mostly on, but off and on towards the end, with somebody who, will forever be regarded as family in my life, and I think in yours as well. Mm-hmm. So, and then I was in a relationship not too long ago that, whatever. But the one piece of advice that I want to give you, if you didn't pick it up, was to value those who love you truly when it comes to women. The ones that go above and beyond, the ones that, for lack of better phrasing, love your dirty draws, and to not overlook the significance of having someone in your life who truly, truly, truly cares and loves for you. Like, don't let those kinds of people go unless you feel like you're not ready for it. You never want to string somebody along, but those kinds of people are the kinds of people that we should work to meet where they are at, and to earn that love that they give you so freely. Okay. So when you come across those kinds of people, because they're far and few between. They are special individuals. Make sure you honor it by showing up as the best possible version of yourself. I wish I would have got that information a lot younger in life. I wish I would have had a better understanding of how rare that is. All right. Let's get away from that. What
questions?
Yeah, man. Let's get it going.
Have you ever had a moment where you felt like you were on top of the world, where nothing can stop you and you could succeed in whatever you wanted to succeed in?
Man, I had a question like that for you. I'm sorry. I'd be blown away sometimes. The synergy. Yeah, bro. I've had some incredible wins in life. I've done things that people dream of. I've starred in movies. I've uh, been the main character in series. I've hosted television shows. I have been shoulder to shoulder with people that people would piss on themselves if they were in front of. I've earned a significant amount of money in a single day just for showing up and being myself. I've traveled. I've done so many great things. And when I have those moments where I feel like I'm unstoppable, right? Where I feel like nothing can defeat me or bring me down, I'm always inevitably and eventually brought down. I think we lie to ourselves about both the highs and the lows. When we feel that way, like that there's nothing that could stop us, like, yeah, it feels good and you should obviously tap into that and ride it for as long as you can, pause. But you also um, got to be honest about the fact that life does have ebbs and flows. And especially in the space that I work in, bro, like we got moments where, or years where you all the way up, and then you have years where you freezing cold and your phone don't ring when nobody's emailing you. And so that's just, from my experience, a place in the space that I've had to like not allow myself to get too high and really like feed into those moments when I feel that way. And also not dive too deep into the low moments to let those low moments define me as well. And I'll say this, sorry, I'm talking quite a bit, but I'll say this. I feel like it gets me in trouble because people feel like I'm not joyous enough because I've taught myself how to manage my emotions around both joy and happiness. So I never want to get too high. I never want to get too low. And I think that people who haven't had my experiences can't quite understand that concept because on the surface it feels like I should be a lot more about things. But yeah, I definitely had those moments. What prompted that question?
So I had another question that was kind of parallel to that of like your weakest moments, and I was thinking about what times where you felt that you just felt good. I think that's important to highlight like the times where you felt powerful.
Yeah.
And you feel like you could just do it.
When I hosted 106 in Park, I felt super powerful because I manifested that. That was something like even way before, back when AJ, who was the original host of that show, was on there. Like I knew that I was going to end up on that show somehow, some way, and not just in the audience. Like I knew that, and so when the opportunity came about, I wasn't surprised because it was something that I felt in my spirit was always going to happen. When I got shows on whatever network, like I knew that I was worthy of certain opportunities, and so when I got them, I never really was too shocked. But yeah, I mean, I've definitely had some low moments as well. Maybe tricky. So kind of on the heels of that, and this is where I feel like the synergy be crazy. If there was something that you could do that you knew you would not fail at, what would you do?
You know, when we talked about it on another episode, I've been thinking about it. I think if I were to ever do it, which I don't think I would, but teaching people and just like teaching at least like when it comes to young kids or young teenagers, I think me teaching and being that environment, I honestly think I could do really well in that after we had briefly talked about it.
I'm gonna be honest, G. I despise this answer
Why do you, why is that?
because I'm asking you for your loftiest, biggest dream, the thing that you think is almost unobtainable, that you cannot fail at, and you tell me that you want to teach.
That you think I wouldn't be able to fill out or that
You would not, like, if you could do one thing and you wouldn't fail at it, you like the failure is not even a possibility, right? Like you knew that it would be a resounding success. What is the thing that you would do or you would go after? This is where fear, my fear for you comes to the surface a little bit, because I don't think you like have a dream quite yet. And you're 17, so it'll come at some point. But I need you to like really think about the possibilities that can exist. Yo, I'm your dad. Like me, like that. Whatever, you know what that means more than anybody.
yeah.
Special, possibilities endless. Am I right? What do I say when I come out here and I work in the morning? What do I always say? You don't remember? If you don't, it's okay.
I know you're talking about. I can't think of the specific words that you're saying.
It's insane. It's unreal what I get to do for work. It's crazy that I get to wake up, walk out of my bedroom, set up a camera, and make money from my home by virtue of being myself. Enough money to sustain myself, you, to help out people around me, to be able to travel, to live good. It's insane, bro. And in this climate especially, where so many of my friends, so many of my peers are losing jobs every day, I have a company that I work for right now who's like, oh no, we going all in on him. Like, we believe in his talent. It's insane, bro. It is an insane concept. And by virtue of being the greatest beneficiary of that work, I want you to know that should be your starting point. You should see what I do and be like, all right, that's cool. What is the 2.0 version of that look like? If my dad makes movies, literally. If my dad hosts television shows. If my dad works for companies that are the wealthiest company on the face of the planet in LVMH. If my dad has done all of these things, I can do anything. That should be your mentality. So give me the loftiest dream that you have in your mind and your heart. Something that you like, you tuck away, you buried perhaps. You threw dirt on top of it. You know what? That might be too much pressure in real time. And I don't want to do that. But I want you to start thinking about that. I want you to have an expansive, unimaginable, crazy as hell dream, a vision for yourself. That is like, that's where you should be living in the clouds in terms of what you think is possible. Can we do like a practice real quick?
Okay.
I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to envision Dylan in 5 years. And I want you to tell me who you are. What do you do? What do you look like? I want you to be so specific. I want you to drill down on it.
So my face looks kind of the same, but I'm trying something different with my hair. Maybe like I'm doing some like braids just to try them out, see for a little bit if I like them or not. I see myself on a college campus. I'm waking up in the morning, feeling mad tired, but feeling like motivated to really do something with what I have right now, with the options I have, being in college and just in general.
What are you studying?
I'm studying film. I'm going to a film class, attentive in the front, asking questions, paying attention to my teacher, and just really being engaged with what I'm learning so I can actually make something of it.
What's your social life like? You have a girlfriend? You have a lot of friends? Are you kind of like chill? Are you the guy who comes around spaces and it's like, oh, Dylan came out? Who are you?
I don't see myself with a girlfriend yet. I'll have a smaller group of friends. I have a general larger cloud that I could hang with and not bounce around, but I have a secure group of friends that I can say with confidence that I can consistently say to say, oh, that person, yeah, they're dope. I care about them. They're my friend. I can feel their care for me. I'm not going to parties too much. Sometimes once in a while, but really I'm more so either inside or on some chill, maybe to a friend's house for the night, but really just trying to keep it calm more or less.
Are you happy?
I'm happy. I feel a lot more confident about what I'm going to be and who I am currently. I feel that I really have a shot in what I want to do, and that I've finally put myself on the right path to actually obtaining that. And I'm really I have habits and doing certain things that's going to really uplift me and make sure that I get to whatever I want.
I want you to start visualizing things. Open your eyes. I want you to start visualizing life. Like the vision board that I had you do, it's not like, that's a real thing, bro. Like nothing is possible without visualization. Really, it's visualization, writing it down. That's the order of operations for manifestation, right? And then repeating it over and over again. You know, mantras and chanting, and like that's meditation. Like those are things. I'm not the best at meditation, admittedly, but I want you to start having a vision for yourself, and one that is created out of love and not fear. You understand that?
Yeah.
Not the one that's like, I'm never going to get it right, but the one that's like, oh, I'm going to be so fruitful. I want you to start doing that for yourself. Promise me.
Promise you. If you can never feel a certain feeling or emotion ever again, what would you choose?
Oh, there's nothing that I don't want to feel. Like, I want to feel sadness. I want to feel loss. I think loss makes you appreciate life. You know, well, heartbreak. Hopefully, the next time I date, you know, like it's the thing that's the forever thing. So it would be cool. And I actually, the heartbreak is a new concept to me. It's been like I never really dealt with that before, for real, up until like the last 4 years or so. My mom used to always say, "You ain't started life until you got your heart broke." And I'd be like, "The hell are you talking about?" But you know, there might be some credence to it. I don't know. But in general, bro, I like to feel things. Even heartbreak, I like. It makes me. I tap into a different part of myself. Like, I get to have something new to create from. It's like a new easel that I get to paint with my own colors. And even that is therapeutic. That helps me understand myself a lot better, like who I am at in a moment of vulnerability and hurt and pain, you know? Because who you are, this version of me deals with pain a lot differently than I did when I was 30 or 20 or whatever. So I think I want the full breadth of the human experience. And that means that I'm not ducking any feelings that I have. I embrace them, and I encourage you and anyone out there to like feel all the feels.
Okay, what was one of your biggest personal doubts of yourself when first becoming a father?
I was a knucklehead. I think I told you this, but like I was wild. I was wilding. Like nobody really knows. You'd have to really know me to know like how wild I was, because I don't come off that way anymore. So I didn't even know how long I was gonna live. And not because again, like I was some hooligan per se, but just because like I saw better men around me die very young, and so the idea that I would die young was just natural almost. My mom says it all the time. She's like, "You have lost so many friends, like so many friends that just are no longer on earth." So I thought that was my fate, and because of that, like before you were born, I was in a season of like just taking stupid ass risks, just doing stupid stuff. And so I didn't know how much of those decisions were me, like for real, or I was just living aimlessly. And I didn't know if I would be able to course correct myself to be a good enough man to be a decent father. Because I didn't have that in my real father. In my stepfather, he was great. Marion was great. He taught me everything: sports, his comedic timing, my personality. Like a lot of my personality is kind of Marion, like the jokes and stuff like that. So, but then he was gone when I turned like 15 or 16, and that was jarring. So I didn't have anything to pull from. I didn't know. Like I didn't know anything. I was 22 years old. I didn't know who I was. I didn't have real information. I didn't have intel on anything that was worthwhile. I was just like a blank canvas. And here I am about to have to raise a kid Like, I didn't have a real job until I knew you were coming. I finally got a real job, and that was great. But it was so much that I didn't know anything, bro. I didn't know anything. I had life experiences, but none that were of like real value. I learned like survival stuff. I learned how to get by, get over. I learned. Yeah, I won't. I learned bad things, and I didn't even have to learn those things. I could have been learning things that made me brilliant, but I was just a sucker. I was just so desiring to be a thing that was counterculture to my real spirit. If you could change one thing about our family, what would it be? We got a lot of bullshit in our family, y'all. It's real tricky on this side. So
I would change the way how we hold grudges so harshly. A lot of us, we we tend to hold on to so many things in the past that, yeah, it was wrong and you have the right to feel a certain way about it and call it out. But I feel like it comes to a point where we move on from that. Either the person has changed from that point, or it doesn't really apply to what's going on now. That I don't think we should hold on to that and just at least let it go to an extent and just live with who the person is now and their current mistakes and who they are and just who they are in general right now, and not hold them to who they were in the past or their past mistakes. I think that's unfair on somebody to forever hold them to one thing they did, even if it was really crazy. Which, if it's really crazy, then there's some circumstances, but all in all, I think that it's not fair on somebody to always hold them to one thing or certain things that they did in their past. I think you should allow them to grow and allow them to become something better for themselves and everyone else around them.
I think it's so fly how you have mastered the double talk. Because I know what you're talking about, but people out there are not going to have any clue as to what you're talking about. And I think that's really, I think it's really good. I think the way you just did that so subliminally was chef's kiss, bro. That was good. That was good. Do you feel like the family that you were born into, the circumstances and situation that you were born into, is one that if you could do it over again, that you would choose for yourself?
No. And I wouldn't change who everyone is. I would still want everyone who's in my family to be in my family because I cherish and love all of them. But I wish the dynamic between them was a bit more on both sides connected. And yeah, just overall, I wish it was more connected growing up so I could feel more of both worlds. I feel as if I only really got a lot of one side of my family, and it didn't balance out the best where the lessons I would be taught on one side didn't really translate too much to me, but the other side, the lessons on the other side of my family would I would take in more because I'm with them a lot more, and naturally I trust them a bit more, and I just gravitated towards them more because I'm with them so much more. And I feel like if we're more connected, I could have experienced more of everything that my family has to offer and really taken a lot more of that.
Yeah. You funny. You're good, man. You're good. Is it weird if I have female company?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Do you think it would be for me?
Yeah, like because I've told you this in the past. Like my father used to have me around a lot of women, and I think that kind of shaped the way that I understood relationships and how they should be, what they should be. It was a circus, and I never wanted that to be your experience, which is kind of why I was in relationships for so long, because I wanted you to have a level of appreciation for the stability of relationship. I didn't have a lot of women around you. I was in long-term relationships. And it's because I didn't want you to be like me. I didn't want you to be hypersexual. I didn't want you to I didn't want that cycle to repeat itself. Coming out of this last relationship, not that I'm whatever. I just don't know. I never knew how you would feel about that. So I kind of avoided it mostly. Now, there definitely have been times where I've snuck women in that you didn't know about. Why you make that face? You knew?
No, I kind of just assumed so.
Oh, yeah. Dylan, go to your room, buddy. but yeah, but in general, I never wanted you to see me with multiple women, dealing with multiple women. I don't want you to think that that's the way it should be done. So I didn't want to expose you to that. So, and just because somebody's here doesn't mean we're being romantic. Obviously, I have a lot of female friends, but I didn't know how you felt about that.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're a grown-ass man, so who am I to, I guess, dictate how you go about it? And of course, I have a right to feel a way, but it never really bothered me because, that's kind of your business. I didn't really feel the way or, I guess, care too much. It was just, no.
You're good at this, man. If you commit some time. The vision, bro. That's the biggest thing I want you to take away. Not just from this episode, but just in general. I want you to start visualizing the version of yourself. Give yourself a target with your eyes closed so that when you open your eyes, you know what the work is that's in front of you, that you have to do in order to reach that target, to reach that point. My therapist told me that I do the opposite. I had to go back to the 5-year-old version of me and talk to him, soothe him, and father him in a way that he was never fathered. And so she says, yo, when you're in the shower, every time you're in the shower, and I don't do it every time, but when you're in the shower, I want you to talk to the 5-year-old version of yourself, hug him, tell him what he should know, tell him you got his back. And I want you to start having conversations with the older version of yourself. Yo, older D, how's life? How did we achieve XYZ? What do we enjoy doing? Yo, what should we avoid? Just and obviously you're not gonna have all those answers, but just but visualizing the version of yourself that you want to exist and having real dialogue makes it so much more real. All right?
All right.
I love you much. I love you most. All praises to the Most High. Thank you, God, for today, for tomorrow, for yesterday. Nothing is possible without you. So, with that said, 9 months out is out. Peace.
Peace.
Ba-doom.